It's Chuck from Above the Basement, Boston Music and Conversation. Charles Haynes is a drummer, producer, musical director, and strong believer in the power of listening. He learned this through constant gigging at one of Boston's oldest family-owned jazz clubs in Boston, Wally's Café. Charles has toured with Ed Sheeran, Lady Gaga, Kanye West, MIA, and Queen Latifah, among many others, and is the owner of Herd Studios, a boutique mixing, mastering, and recording studio in Boston. You can read more about it at herdstudio.com. That's HERD. In this episode, we talk about the importance of listening and trust, and how allowing space between musicians on stage can create magic. The song you are hearing now is from his project Lo-Fi called Alpha. Midway through, you'll hear the song Just a Moment from his other project MCK. And at the end, you'll hear the song The Prophet, also from Lo-Fi. Before we start, we would like to thank the good folks at Zildjian Cymbals. They have been creating an amazing product for almost 4 centuries, and their support for music and education is inspiring. For more information about them, visit Zildjian.com. Okay, so here's our conversation with Charles Haynes, recorded at Herd Studios in Boston, Massachusetts. So I grew up in Concord.
Okay.
And they had a very controversial vote where they outlawed plastic water bottles. You can't buy Poland Spring, you can't buy Fiji, you can't buy anything like that. It's illegal. And you can be fined $50 a day if you're caught selling them.
Did it happen?
It went through, it passed, much to many people's chagrin. But now they've been selling water out of cardboard milk cartons. They're like little teeny ones.
There's a thing called box water that's really
box
good.
water, that's what it is. Yeah,
man.
So if that's what comes out of it, you have to buy box water. I guess that's better than the plastic. And as a matter of fact, if you drink the water out of the plastic bottles, like especially if you leave in your car or something, that's like the worst thing for you. You're just drinking whatever poison is kind of leaked into there.
Can you hear me, Chuck?
I can hear you. The other Chuck.
The other Chuck. So you go by Charles, not Chuck, huh?
I have many different names, honestly.
What is it? What Charlie Dog?
Charlie Dog, Charlie Mike's, I don't know. Whichever one works,
Charles, we're sitting at your kitchen.
Yes, you are, man.
We really appreciate your time, and we know that you've been back and forth, and you haven't been here in a couple of weeks.
Have not been working, but I'm here now.
So you just got back from Trinidad.
You opened up your door to us, and
Well, Colin did.
Colin did, actually, yeah. And we met Colin, very nice, great engineer here at Herd Studio.
Yep.
I don't know if he's great. Is he great?
Some would say.
Great.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
I've never seen him engineer for me. So.
From what I heard, that's half of the battle.
Yeah? All right, well, that's good. That's good.
That's
I'm
true.
sure he's fantastic. I just don't.
I'll put it like this. I work hard for the best, and, he started here as an intern. He came up the ranks, man. He is killing.
He got his degree at Berkeley through engineering, right?
Yep.
Is he a player, too?
He's a drummer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
This is going to be our drummer series, actually, because we just talked to Don Henley last week. We're talking to you this week. We got to find a couple more drummers, and it'll be drummer month.
Well, and
then Blue Man.
That's
Group.
why it is drummer month. Yeah,
we're going to be talking.
So it might work out for you guys. At the same time, a good friend of mine, Vancel Cooper, might be coming through later. I just put him on the Hamilton gig.
Oh, really?
What do you mean? The Hamilton gig?
Hamilton,
Boston. Like you're talking when they come through here.
They come in the winter, right?
Yes.
Wow.
You're talking Boston, Hamilton.
Wow.
And he's going to be on the gig. That's fantastic.
I wasn't,
There's some great drums in there.
I wasn't able to do it. So
have you seen the show?
I haven't, actually.
No, neither have I.
I haven't seen it. I've seen some clips, and the soundtrack is incredible.
Yeah. All my kids, well, I don't know, not you, Hannah, but Molly and her friends listen to it and know all the words to it.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, I work with some of the guys that the musical director and And he called me 2 weeks ago, Charles, I know we can't have you. It was almost one of those, I know we can't afford you, but anyway. No, I just, my schedule is just so crazy. I couldn't commit to 2 years.
Well, now that they're here, I have no excuse. I gotta go see it.
Yeah, I heard it's amazing, man.
Yeah, so I'm here with two Charleses.
No, I'm not. I'm a
Charlie.
Charles, but I'm Chuck.
All right,
Yeah, Chuck, how you doing?
Okay,
Hey, my
Chuck.
father used to call me Chuck. Hey, Chuck.
My dad called me Chaz.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the only one who called me Chaz. And then the only one who called me Charlie was my strangely enough, my pharmacist. Because I used to work at a pharmacy. And he'd call me, his name is Charlie, so he'd call me Charlie. He's the only person in the world who'd call me Charlie.
There it is.
That's my story.
That was great.
All
Story.
right, thanks for being here.
Char-
All right.
Guys, we had a good time.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, tune in for our next. We're going to talk about the name Dave. Charles Haynes. It's great to be sitting here. We connected through Zildjian.
Yep.
Miss Zildjian herself. They connected us through Spalding Rehab. A friend of mine, Brian Harris, who's a music therapist. They've been a big supporter through the arts in the community and helping kids. And they gave us a great tour. And we went through that factory and through the 300-year-old company of craziness.
It's kind of crazy, right? The crazy part about it, it's an American company that has not outsourced.
You know that story. It's the oldest.
It's the oldest company, family
America.
business in America.
Yes.
Right. It was a Turkish company that was making cymbals for 200 years.
Yep.
Or no, sorry, 300 years old. The first, I believe, 100 years were in Turkey, and the second 200 years were here in the States.
In the States, yeah.
So we're really happy that Zildjian brought us together. And then when I look at your career, we were talking before on the couch about the stuff you're doing now and what you're doing now forward. It makes me think about where you've been.
Yep.
And I remember I read a little bit about it, but I remember talking to you on the phone a few months ago about Wally's.
Mm-hmm.
And
my home.
And really, it actually kind of was a home, right? It's a brownstone.
Listen, yeah,
That
definitely.
place is amazing.
It's guys.
I still haven't been there.
It's some guys that live above the club. It's amazing, man.
So I lived in Boston in the mid '90s, and I would go into Wally's a few times. I probably heard Charles play.
What nights did you go? Is it like a Tuesday and Wednesday?
I don't know.
Oh, do you remember who was playing? Was it anyone specific?
It didn't matter. You went there, and it was this holy grail of jazz, and these guys that were in Berkeley and out of Berkeley, and it was like different folks coming together to hear music, and a very small place, a first floor brownstone, great bar on the side, and you hear the music bringing you in at the very back, and it's this wonderful jazz.
I used to play there every day, man.
You said that's where you got a lot of your chops, and that's
everything.
That was a school for you.
Everything. Like you had Berkeley College of Music, then you had Wally School of Music. It was kind of a different concept.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, what is the difference between going to school and then going into the real life atmosphere of playing live gigs and doing all that kind of stuff?
So for me, and actually most of the guys that played at Wally's when I was there, we was taught how to listen, not taught how to play, which is harder than just playing. I have to listen to what you're saying now. When I'm trying to do my thing don't mean nothing if I'm not listening. If you're giving me a question, then that means I'm supposed to give you a proper answer, not just throw something out there in the wind and see if there's a stick. There's another drummer named Mark Simmons, another guy named Adam Deitch, good friend of mine, and another guy named John Lampkin. I'm sorry. We was like the power trio of drummers playing at Wally's at the time that you was going there. So you definitely heard one of us.
Yeah.
For me at Wally's, it was the power of like you have to listen to what's going on around you. There's a guitar player named Jeff Lockhart. He's a very mysterious character, but one of the most amazing guitar players I played with a lot of people, but for some reason, this one guy plays with so much space, he makes you just sit there. He will take a minute of not soloing. He's supposed to be soloing, but no. He's just going to sit there until that moment is right. He's like, now I will speak. And when he speak, everybody goes crazy. So, for me at Wally's, I learned that.
You're speaking about a conversation, and you're obviously using this as an example. We're having a conversation. We haven't met before, but if we were on stage playing, you have to have that ability to not talk over each other constantly and hear yourself.
When we played at Wally's, it was that. It was like, hey, don't talk over me. I'm going to say something. Just wait for me to say it, and then you can respond.
But it's so important because otherwise it can be just a hot mess. And not to turn on what we do here, but I've noticed, and we've tried to get better at this, when in the very beginning when we first started the podcast, we'd be very nervous about how to ask questions and intelligent questions and when we should come in, and we were a little bit on top of each other, and you can. And it's
I don't think we were.
Yeah. but you.
So anyway, Charles,
you'd hear it.
When you started off in music,
you'd hear it in the playback. I edit these and I listen to them like, God knows how many times, and I hear it. I'm like, God, we just gotta listen. So it's not an easy thing to do.
It's really not.
It's easy to say. And especially as a musician, when everybody wants to be the man, or
they want to be the star,
they want the woman there and on stage, it's hard to do.
So you're a drummer.
Yep.
There are drummers that get it and some that don't. There are drummers that their job is to lock with that bass kick and they speak rhythm with the bass player. But I'm getting from you that there's a communication of everyone in the room.
Everybody, even the audience to a certain extent. I just did the Newport Jazz Festival yesterday with an amazing pianist named Jason Moran. And Jason, he, I love the outer space thing. And he really has those moments where the galaxy is huge. And if you're not paying attention, you would get lost. He has these moments where he reaches for the stars. It's either you can try to be like, I'm holding on and let's go, or you can let him reach. And when he find it, then you tag along and it makes it something even more beautiful. For me, it took me a while to understand that playing with him because his vocabulary of music, his vocabulary of just life, everything attached to that, it's deep. It can be heavy. And if you're not paying attention, you could just be lost.
But that can also be it's going to depend on who the main performer is, because they may say, I'm going to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep up.
Oh, yeah. Now at the end of the day, we still keep up.
Right. But sometimes they're going to be like, I'm going to go somewhere and just do what you do.
Just follow along.
And figure it out.
Don't worry.
And I'll trust you, right?
Oh, it's pure trust, because if it wasn't, I would have been fired a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's pure trust. So with him, we travel. Sometimes I have an answer for it, and other times I'm like, man, listen, I'm just gonna sit in the window seat and watch us just sail on, because I can't be your co-pilot at these 4 bars of this song, because you are somewhere.
I would love to hear, in a side conversation or something, but I would love to hear like a 5 or 10 minute piece of music that you look back on and you dictate over that what you're thinking during those times.
And this is why I'm not doing this, and I'm doing this instead.
Because you just gave an example, then all my brain wants to know is exactly what that was at that time.
Yeah.
What was Jason playing, and what were you thinking about? And because a lot of this is improv, obviously.
Of course, yes.
So back to Wally's, your chops are the combination of the chart, knowing the tune, but also it's that space.
It's that space.
And when you think about the other type of music you've done, which has brought you to different places.
My time with Kanye was that. I think that was one of the. We could step it up a little bit now. That was a life-changing moment for me. I'll never forget. I was looking at daycares for my. At that moment, she was only 2 months old, maybe. And a friend of mine, Jeff Basker, called on a Sunday. I'll never forget this. I just finished playing for Easter morning service at church. Jeff called. He sent me a text like, hey, man, I might need you to do this gig. I said, oh, cool, whatever. Nah, he didn't say who it was when he said it. I was like, cool, man, just let me know what's up. He's like, it's for Kanye. But I'll let you know. I was like, okay, let me know. So, of course, I learned the music.
That night.
Like, let's go. Let's work. Monday, I'm looking at daycares, and he calls like, hey, I'm pulling the trigger, man. I want you to do the gig. I said, great, man, when you need me to leave. He was like, there's a 6 o'clock flight. It was 3:30. So I'm rushing, breaking all type of laws to get home, to pack a bag and grab my passport. He was like, make sure you bring your passport.
And where were you going?
We went to L.A. for 2 days of rehearsal. Yeah. And then I toured for about 3 years. Exactly that. First stop was China.
First stop was China.
We rehearsed
and this
for 2
was
days.
what, like 08?
08.
That's
08,
when
09.
Kanye was kind of blowing up.
Yeah, Kanye. That's after he released College Dropout. And it was just like off to the races. He was killing it. The stage that was built for that show was built by Jim Henson's people. It was another level. The musicianship that was connected to that. It brings us back to the Wally's thing. It was space. You don't need to show off because the music connected to that.
But that also brings like a whole nother performance. It's not just about the music, it's the whole.
It's the theater.
It's the theater, right?
Yeah, it's the theater.
And was that the first time you had the theater as part of your of your music
No.
rather than just the music? Or
No, I mean, I've definitely, even before Kanye, I was doing a few things. You know, I was with Arturo Sandoval, Christian McBride, Kim Burrell. But theater-wise, I'd already kind of experienced a few things. Experiencing that many people I've done before. When I played for Najee, when they first freed Nelson Mandela, they did a huge thing in South Africa. So it was Najee, Stevie Wonder, and that was 100,000+ people in the soccer stadium.
My goodness.
I remember I flunked a class because of that at Berkeley, by the way.
You left for that?
No.
What do you mean?
I didn't leave.
You just couldn't study.
I went to go do the gig, and I came back, and the teacher told me it was like how to perform. He was like, Charles, you don't sound like you're confident. I'm like, man, I just performed for 100,000 people yesterday. And what do you mean?
And I'm here. It's 8 a.m. I came to class.
It was an 11 o'clock class, and I made it on time, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
And you graduated Berkeley, right?
No.
You didn't graduate?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
You're not the only
years?
person we've talked to who went to Berkeley and didn't finish there. There's a lot of people.
You're talking to one right now.
Yeah, I went there.
Oh, what's
Yes.
your instrument?
I'm a guitarist, but
Listen, we're starting the session in 2 hours, man. Listen.
I'm not sure you can afford me, Charles.
Oh, there it is. I
There
love
you
it.
go.
Listen, hold on. Where's my wallet?
You got a buck?
I got a credit
All I
card.
need is a buck. I'll take a buck. Yeah, you're not the only one who's. We've done both. We've done graduates and we've done people who've gone
Right.
and moved on to other
I
things.
had all the intentions to graduate, but,
Well, Matt Damon didn't graduate Harvard.
there it is.
And
look at him now.
Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
But it shows you, I think, back to just all kidding aside, it goes back to the Wally's PhD.
Yeah, that's what it is. Man.
And
That's
it
really
sounded
what
like
it is.
Kanye was sort of like an extra degree.
It was. I mean, it brought me Lady Gaga. It brought me MIA.
Yeah.
It brought me Ed Sheeran. Brought me Queen Latifah.
That
And-
was that level, not only with performance and touring and sort of that high level in the entertainment industry,
Yep.
but you're saying that it also opened up the doors.
Yes,
Right.
completely.
And trust had to be involved in that.
A friend of mine he's almost like the musical director for everybody. I say if my mother was to decide to have a career in music, she'd probably call him first before she called me. He has his hands involved in everything. A guy named Adam Blackstone. We did the Boston Pops with Queen Latifah. So we all piled up in here. We rehearsed here for a day.
Oh, I
they
wanted
did.
to see that.
It was great, man.
So you were the band
I was the drummer.
on stage
Yeah.
at the Symphony Hall with
So she had her
Keith,
band,
yeah.
which I've been playing for her maybe 3-4 years now, almost. Wow. And so she came in. She's like, Charlie, we're rehearsing at your studio. I was like, okay, let's go. And we rehearsed for a day. And then we came in and did 2 nights with the Boston Pops, man. It was great. But Adam, which is also the MD for Justin Timberlake, he was the MD for Kanye when I was doing it. Eminem, Jay-Z, the list goes on. Rihanna, Ed Sheeran. It's crazy. Much stuff he got his hands into. He calls me because he trusts me. He's like, I know I can call Charles midnight and say, I need you to be on a 5 o'clock flight and the show is at 11. I'm sorry, I can't sing you the music until 10 a.m. He know I would be on the plane with internet, downloading the songs. When I got off that plane, I know the show. We go do the show and then we go home. Get a check and go home. That's it.
that is trust.
It's super
That's
trust,
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's been some moments on the Kanye gig where, some things have happened and I'd be like, guys, I got you. I would press play or I would do something and we all fall right back in line. Or when we did the first inauguration for Obama, Kanye decided he wanted to change the whole show half an hour before he went on.
Come on.
I wish I was lying to you guys, but when I tell you, I've never seen Adam sweat so much in my life at that time. They was like, we about to go on. We're like, yo, where's Adam? Where's Kanye? He walked on the stage like, guys, I'm going to talk you through everything. The first 2 songs is this. Charles, you cut off the 3rd song. Then we're doing this. We're doing the 2nd verse, not the 1st verse. And it was that. And we did a 45-minute set of that. It was like one of the best sounding shows. Everybody was so on point. And it was like one of those moments like, I can call these guys for anything because I trust them.
Did a lot of listening that day.
A lot of listening that day. But that takes us back to the Wally's days. The piano player or the bass player have to trust me, and I have to trust him if we're going to try to do this music thing and try to elevate.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can't. I think I read somewhere you said not any musician can handle those big gigs.
Some people get on a bigger stage and be like, this is my opportunity. I can show off. I think, and a lot of us talk about this, sometimes it's not even the music part. It's your personality. Can I be on a tour bus with you 4 or 5 months of my life? Can you not get on my nerves after the 2nd week of hanging out? out on tour.
Right, you're on stage for 3 hours.
Not even. Sometimes it could be 2 hours.
And you're on the bus
suffers.
for 14 straight.
Exactly.
Right?
The music's going to fly or it's going to suffer.
Exactly.
When you think about the Stones, I mean, those guys weren't virtuosos.
Yeah, man.
Right?
But they were who they were.
They wrote some serious tunes. They had serious attitude, and they were brothers. You know, a lot of these bands.
Yeah.
Speaking of Latifah, there was something that really struck me with the difference working with her versus some others when you talked about you laying down a beat and then she just riffed off it. It became something real.
It's a thing, yeah, man. She walks in and she's like, all right, Charlie, hit me. Give me a break beat. And I will play, and she would freestyle. Yeah. She'd just sit there and just go. She'd be like, oh, I just love the sound of your drums. I just love the, you know. And it's a thing of question and answer, communication. Do I play with enough space so she could do her thing? Sometimes she does it on the show. Sometimes she don't. And sometimes it's what you said earlier, it's the trust thing. Like if I start something, I trust that you're going to be right there. I'm going to start riffing on something.
Some of that stuff become songs.
Yeah. We go to the studio and record it later that night.
Now, you've also said something about simplicity in drumming. Sometimes it's not all about the fills and how fast you are and how hard you hit the drum, but it's more about the simplicity. And I know that you really kind of work on your chops playing those 8 bars, looking at those 8 bars and just playing those perfectly. You've even done something where you've done it in reverse. You've done it backwards.
So I had a moment where I wasn't offering enough, and not saying enough chop wise, but just enough. Like I had a moment where I was like, man, I'm not digging into the beat hard enough. I'm not doing something I'm doing wrong. So it's a record.
It's just a feeling you had.
It's just a feeling I had, you know, and I probably was dead wrong. I don't know. But, you know, as a musician, you know, I'll be the one to say that a lot of musicians have this insecurity thing. They cannot just get over it and get themselves together. They have to try to stay in this bubble of insecurity. It's like, hey, man, just go practice or go figure it out. And so I had that moment. I was like, I need to go figure something out. And so it's this record that I love that I never tried to imitate was Paul Revere, Beastie Boys. So first of all, how did they do it? And so then, you know, then I got to the technical side of like, oh, it's a drum machine and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but how can I sound like that though? And so then I just spent days and days and weeks of just trying to sound like that. And one of my roommates, Mark Kelly, he's the bass player for The Roots right now.
Oh, really?
He used to be so pissed off at me because about 10:30 every morning, I'm waking him up. I had a practice room in the apartment we stayed. So I had like the tour kit set up, 3 rack toms, 2 floor toms.
Right in your room? 10:30 was this pretty humane.
I'm sure he's not the only one who was pissed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, neighbors. I think the neighbors, you know what? Now that you say that, that's probably why my car got broken into.
You think?
I didn't even think about that, man. Damn it. Yeah, I definitely pissed everybody off, but I didn't care. I was like, I got to get it right. Whatever I need to
the
find.
art, man.
Yeah, man. Well, some people say that. Some people don't. But nah, yeah, I got into a thing where I just tried to find newness, something, just something, you know. And, of course, I tried everything I practiced, I tried at Wally's. Everything. Half the time it failed, to be completely honest. But when it worked, it was magic.
Wally's was your laboratory.
Oh my God, man! I'll be mixing and matching, blowing stuff up.
You seem to when you were at Berkeley, you seem to kind of hop into being the drummer for other acts. Did you ever have your own trio or band that you were looking to make it as your group?
I had a band called The Squad. Now, when I tell you about these members of the band, they're all very successful right now.
Oh, really?
As we speak. Like, it's crazy, man. And I'm not saying I was the reason, but I'm just saying, like, no. I'm just saying we was all in the band together. Like, they're my friends, you know.
They call the drummer a backbone, the backbone for a lot of reasons. Okay.
Mark Kelly, the guy I just mentioned, bass player for The Roots. Jeff Basker, it's the name to look up. He's the one that called me for Kanye, keyboard player. Amazing producer. We did Lady Gaga together also. He produced Uptown Funk.
Really?
Do you play keys on that too?
He played keys on it also.
And Uptown Funk.
Produce and play keys.
I've heard that song. Have you heard that song?
I've heard it
a few times. Right? One of the biggest songs in the world, maybe.
It's got to be up there.
Wow. So he produced that.
And a ton of other humongous records. A guy named Adam Smirnoff, guitar player. We call him Smeens. The guitar player for one of the original members also for the band Lettuce.
Oh, I love Lettuce.
Boom.
I just bought I didn't buy it. Like last year, I bought the one with the elephants on the front. They're cool.
They're a hot band.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Deitch, drummer, he was part of the trio at Wally's.
Is this here in Boston that all these guys were in Boston?
Yeah, they all
at the
met
time?
here. They met at like the 12-week program or summer program at Berkeley together. It was Adam Deitch, Eric Krasno, and then Sam Kenninger, saxophone player, also one of the original horn players for Lettuce. So that was the band I had. It was called The Squad.
Wow.
I'd love to hear it.
So it was primarily a funk band. Not funk, funk. Like
funk?
It funk. Like it was dirty, it was nasty, it was like everything you would want in that type of music. We kind of covered it. We was also like Miles Davis. We was jazz heads at the same time. And then after that, man, I just went into kind of learning production and still playing drums to support myself.
You've built up quite a resume.
A little bit.
What do you do for producing? So you mentioned some film.
Yep.
What are your interests there for producing?
We just finished. I have a production company called Lo-Fi Music. We finished a film. It came out in December. It was the New Edition film. 3 night movie series.
Is it a documentary on New Edition? Or
no, it's a full out 2 hours a night movie.
The story of New Edition.
The story of New Edition. Yeah.
And this is again Ronnie,
Bobby, Ricky.
Yep. And Mike.
Yep. And Johnny.
Oh,
Johnny Gill.
There's no Mike?
Yeah, it's Mike.
Oh, Mike and Johnny.
Yeah,
okay.
Johnny, you know. Remember, Bobby left.
I'm impressed. Did you tell him that before he came on? Or
this is a memory test. Yeah.
Okay.
But, I was an 80s kid.
They were huge.
Yeah. Huge, man.
Kidding me?
Especially for here, you know.
Yeah, they're all out of Boston, right?
Yeah.
I remember.
It was them and New Kids on the Block. For that, we did the underscore. So the underscore is it's a one particular scene that took us a while to get to. Is when they voted Bobby Brown out of the group, and the music had to speak.
Come on in.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi. This is Eva, studio manager,
Eva.
and actually this is my production partner, Mitch.
Hi, Mitch. How you doing?
So let's get started here. It took us a while to get that particular scene because the thing I talked about with Wally's Space, they are saying, so who's going to vote them off? Who's going to raise their hand? So do we put something super dramatic there, or do we take our time and wait for something to happen? You look at a movie, and sometimes the music can give you the emotion.
Right.
Or if you take your time, it's already given to you. You just add one note. It makes a difference.
It's anticipation.
Exactly.
So you wrote, you scored this for this film,
So
right?
for the New Edition film?
Yeah.
Yes, me and my partner.
Mitch, who just came in?
Yep, me and Mitch, yep. And we had, I think, 3 or 4 other guys.
I'm sorry, what's Mitch's last name?
Henry.
Mitch Henry.
Old Mitchell Henry.
We're talking about you, Mitch.
It was myself, Mitch, and about 4 other guys that was on the team because realistically it was 3 films that needed to be done in 3 months maybe. And that's pretty rough. So it couldn't take just one set of guys to get all this madness done.
But that's a different art form. It's not
totally
just sitting down and writing a song and, that's a cool riff.
Yeah.
Were you given any kind of direction by the director?
Yes and no. Definitely, like when we first got it, we just jumped right in. We looked at the film and then we jumped right in. And
you got to see how you react, right?
Yeah. And then, then we got director's notes. Then we kind of started going off of that. And then after that, I think our first draft, the director, Casualty Taurus, a new one, was like, guys, it's just too much. It's just too much. And then I clicked on the Wally's musician side, like, man, listening. Lord, no, I just supposed to did like one piano note right here when he said, we got to do this. Bing, done. Scene, ladies and gentlemen. So
that's very Miles Davis.
Extremely Miles Davis. You know Miles would be like, okay, Kenny Garrett, you can solo now. I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
So, we took that approach.
So that's one thing that you do here.
Yeah.
I know that our friend Allie McGurk had recorded here. She recorded here, or she just said that?
It was both.
Both. She did.
So, here at the studio at Heard, we do, of course, it's a recording studio, but we do live
performances here.
Live performances here, like intimate shows that artists can come record their music, and then they're like, okay, we're going to be done in 3 months. I want to do a listening/performance party here. Cool. And it's real chill.
You could do like a little CD release.
Matter of fact, October 9th and October 14th, we're doing a lo-fi release. It's a release listening party. We're not performing, but it's going to be like a light show. It's going to be crazy.
In here, light show?
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out. So I saw something. Yeah, just take a break there, Chuck. I saw something when you were playing with Marcus Strickland, and there was clapping involved, and you were doing a solo. He sort of faded off, and you had the audience clap the 2 and 4 with you.
Yep.
And you didn't just do it once.
Probably did it quite a few times.
Yeah, but it reminded me of sort of that inner click, the inner metronome of the drummer.
Yep.
And it's funny because when I was listening to that, what I thought about was when I was a teenager, I went to a place called the House of Guitars in Rochester, New York. I'm from Rochester. I went to this demonstration with Chester Thompson. Okay? You talked about him, right?
Yes.
And the arena drummer. But, he would talk about the click and the metronome, and it was all drummers in the audience. I was a piano player, and I sort of got it because I played in bands just as a kid. But he would talk about that click in the inner cue, okay?
Right. Yep.
And he would just say he doesn't even need to have a click track. It's just there. And then he'll be filling, and he'll be in space.
Yep.
And then get back to the one.
That's what it is, man. I mean,
can you describe that?
I mean, my whole journey of that is, I did an interview a while back, and the guy asked me, like, what do you see when you're playing? I'm like, man, do you want my honest answer? Because it's really not going to sound right. But when I'm playing, I see crashing buildings and butterflies.
Oh, yeah, right. So do I. No.
Oh, you too?
I see car crashes and bumblebees.
It's really sweet, actually.
But tell me more about that, because that's sort of the synesthesia, right? The colors that people see.
That's for me, it's like playing drums, it can be this loud thunder. Like, when I listen to Art Blakey, he is playing with power and thunder. And then when I turn around and listen to Max Roach, he's playing with this beauty. But some people, they say it's sexy. You know what I'm saying? It's so that's where the crashing buildings and butterflies, you can find beauty in chaos if you just look deep enough. You get this thunder thing from me, but then I'm trying to make it as musical and beautiful and make it feel good at the same time.
So what are the butterflies in a standard groove? So you're in a groove.
Oh, the butterfly is...
Do they start flying into your mind, or do you...
Yes, yeah, they do. It's almost like, some people, it's almost like a chemical being released in your brain, you know what I'm saying? You get high off of that, whatever that chemical is. Like sometimes Mitch or one of my good friends, Kyle Miles, bass player, we're playing together, and they get to this part of the song. It's like the whole room changes to me. Everything, like the colors is going, the butterflies, because it's beautiful. And so my reaction to that is to connect musically more on the spiritual. So it's the chemistry thing.
I saw you playing on the Ellen show. So you're playing the body tune, the Ed Sheeran.
I'm in love with you. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about the tribal.
Yep.
Is there a part of you that says, well, wait, I'm on live television right now or whatever, but I got different butterflies? Or is it? Are you in the zone where you're working?
I'm in my thing, man. I think I've gotten to a point now in my career and as a person and as a musician is you calling me for me, and that's it. So if I'm in my zone, now I'm going to be respectful to the song and the music. I'm not going to be like, yo, I'm about to be in my jazzy world and here we are. It's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, you have this is your job, of course. You can't go off. It intrigues me. Like there's got to be a part of you that feels the improv coming in.
Of course. Listen, I have the urge all the time. Like, oh man, if I played this, woo! But like, wait a minute.
So you're constantly clamping down that urge.
Oh man, listen. Sometimes I'm just like, listen. I need some vice grips. I need to clamp. I need to hold these down so it doesn't move. Like I can't do nothing. Play your part. You know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, Michael Jordan made everybody better on the team. Why? Because he played his part at least 75% of the time. Other than that, he was like, give me the ball. And sometimes I have to be that 75%. I have to, play my part.
What a lucky guy that now you're in a place where they're calling you because they want you. They don't want someone to do is play the part.
Right.
They want what you are as a drummer and what you add to the entire piece. I mean, that's it. That's a musician's dream, or it should be.
Yeah.
Right? To be wanted for who you are as a musician and how you do things, rather than just a
a lot of guys like myself, we have been working towards that, because there was a small era where a lot of drummers kind of started sounding alike a little bit. Are you calling me because of me, or are you calling me because you want me to sound like this person? Now, if someone said, listen, Charles, really want you to do this gig. Steve Gadd did it before you, and I need you to sound like Steve Gadd. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Why? Because Steve Gadd is,
Steve Gadd.
Unfortunately, the artist has been listening to Steve Gadd play these songs for 3 years now. I think you coming in and playing you at the beginning might throw him off a little bit. Not a problem. We'll walk in, I will play my Gadd. And then we just start adding a little daggers here and there, letting you know that, yes, I have that vocabulary, and at the same time, we can try to build into another thing. So,
it's interesting because I was thinking about, as a guitarist, growing up, you listen to, even now, you listen to albums and you can kind of tell to a certain extent who that famous guitarist is, just because you can kind of hear their, like Mark Knopfler, for example. You can always tell Mark Knopfler riff because of the way he plays. It's just very Mark Knopfler.
Signature.
Yes, signature. Thank you. The only person I could probably think of off the top of my head of a drummer that I would recognize is maybe drummer for the Police,
Stuart Copeland.
Stuart Copeland. I can hear that signature that he does.
It's that feel also. You know what I'm saying? Like I can hear Stuart, I can hear Gadd, I can hear Chester, I can right out the bat. Oh, that's that person. Oh, that's because of the feel. Besides the way they tune their drums, like Gadd plays with a lot of space. Chester has this thing where it's just like, man, I only can hear. I hear him on a lot of records, but his playing has this stadium just raw type of thing. It's undeniable. That's another thing that me and my production partner, we always talk about. Whatever we're doing, it has to be undeniable. So a lot of things get erased from us because we're like, nah, it's not undeniable. Some things we start over, other things we get rid of.
That's the name of your album.
It should be. Actually, I'm doing a alter ego record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't talk about it now.
I can't talk about it now,
because when I make another album someday, Charles, I'm gonna call it "Smashing Buildings and Butterflies."
Boom. Wait a minute, that's the name of my record.
I'd sue the hell out of them. That's what I would do.
That's a song, though.
By the way, I have to mention that Chester Thompson is the Genesis drummer.
Yes, if you guys didn't know that.
Well,
some people don't know that, but I've always been a Genesis fan my whole life.
I'm a huge Genesis fan, man.
I could do a Genesis podcast.
This is something we bring up.
Please.
Maybe every third episode we talk about. There's certain things that we bring up. One of them is that he's a big Genesis Phil Collins fan.
I got a great story for you.
Oh, please.
I was in Japan walking through a mall.
It's a great start of a story.
Boom. I'm in Japan. I'm walking through a mall. I'm in the electronics section. You know what it is. And they are playing the Genesis live concert.
What concert?
I can't remember which one it was.
Three Sides Live?
All I know is I sat on the floor and watched the whole show for like an hour and a half. The people was walking past me. It was the TV section. I was like, cool. It was a wall full of just TVs.
Ordered out some pizza.
Oh my God,
yeah,
man! I was starving. I wanted some Moss burgers. If you ever go to Japan, Moss burgers.
Moss burgers.
All right,
yes, Lord.
You know Jerome Dupree? He's a drummer from Morphine.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so he had arm issues early when Morphine first started, and that's why he had to leave. And I know that physical issues can be a problem for drummers.
Yes.
How are you doing with your wrists and your arms and just the whole physiology of playing the drums? It's a tough sport.
It's definitely a tough sport.
I just knocked on wood for you, but it's just
all good. No, I do. I
didn't mean to jinx you.
No. I got you. I can't remember how many years it was ago. Over 10 years ago, I was in a really bad car accident.
Ooh.
I was in a taxi cab. The taxi driver is speeding. I'm like, bro, I'm on time. You can slow down. He runs the yellow light, another car turning, smashes and gets the car, bounces off the car, wraps around the pole. When I open my eyes, I see smoke and I see people running towards the car, yelling. Now, the first thing in my mind is like, the car's about to blow up.
Yeah.
So I kick the window out, jump out the car, and start running. I didn't feel any pain at that time. But when I woke up from the hospital the next morning, C4, C5 in my spine.
Ooh.
So it affects these when I play. So now it doesn't, because just practice and working out and yoga and stretching and everything else. My hands used to really get like tingly feelings. I couldn't feel nothing in my hands. I'm like, yo, I suck. I can't play drums no more. Like, what is this? Like,
It's scary.
Throw me off the bridge. Like, that's all I got.
You healed over the period of months or a year? Or?
Yeah, I'm still healing. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, you know.
Well, it's interesting. It was 10 years ago because, I mean,
it was more than 10 years ago. It was Jesus. It was like 15, 16 years ago, maybe.
Big part of your career is after that, obviously.
Exactly. It's a rough sport, man.
I saw a documentary. It was a Wilco documentary, and Nels Cline. He's like crazy, just fast when he's doing his solos, and he'd have to after the show, he'd go and he'd just put his hands into ice, and he just you could see he's just racked in pain.
It's like ball players and football players, man.
So thanks so much for sitting with us.
No, thank you guys. Thank
Charles,
you for
you're awesome, man.
Thank you for having me.
I gotta go check out Wally's. I've not gone yet, and I gotta
All right, so
go.
listen, go on
Let's
a Tuesday.
go tonight. Hannah's coming.
On a Tuesday? She's not quite of age.
Wait. I was say, wait a minute, guys.
She's not quite of age yet, but soon.
I want to thank Hannah for taking some
daughter,
pictures
Hannah
today.
Clow, professional photographer, taking pictures.
Thank you very much.
But
make me look good, please.
I'm excited to follow your progress. Good luck with Lo-Fi.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
And
can we come to that?
Sure, please. I have a few things going on. We're going to have Lo-Fi. Then we have a group called MCK.
Okay.
MCK is a trio. It's Mitch, which you met, myself, which is Charles, the bass player named Kyle Miles, which is the K of MCK.
Oh, okay.
MCK.
So we're working on a record this week.
Oh, nice. What kind of music?
So that music is a little experimental, you know what I'm saying? Some of it's going to be like groove stuff. Some other stuff's going to like some Miles Davis, Bitches Brew.
Is it instrumental only?
Yeah.
Is it vocal too? Or?
We haven't decided yet. We did a shout out record. If we was to play with these artists today, this is what I would love to produce with them. You know what I'm saying? Their songs still, but we did an Earth, Wind and Fire song, we did Bob Marley song, a few other ones, and
Excellent. Well, good luck with everything, man.
thank you guys.
And thanks for having us in your home here.
You're welcome anytime.
All right.
You know the address now. Come on
I
by,
do.
guys. I'm here all
It
the
took
time.
me a while to find. I went to that side, and then I had to ask, and they all knew where we were.
We know the secret door. We just need the secret password now.
That's it, man. The beautiful part about Herd Studio is that we try to make it as private as possible. When you call, she asks, so how did you get the number? Like, it's like a private club. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's great. Thanks, Charles.
Thanks very much, Charles.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
Sure enough.
Crazy. 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 Crazy.
We want to thank Charles and the kind folks at Heard for inviting us into their studio for our conversation. Charles is a wonderful guy, and we really enjoyed talking shop. Again, to learn more about Heard Studios, visit heardstudio.com. Go to abovethebasement.com where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen and subscribe to our podcast, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and look at all the nice pictures we post on Instagram. We are everywhere. On behalf of Ronnie and myself, thanks for listening. Tell your friends, and remember, Boston music, like its history, is unique.